Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to replace an iPhone 5C screen. As you can see, this one's shattered up good. I smashed it with a baseball bat because I was mad. So mad. Just kidding, this is customer's phone. So we're going to start by removing the two pentalobe screws in the bottom there, right next to the charging port. There's one, there's two. And this one is probably the easiest iPhone 5 to get apart, the 5C. What I do, take a flathead, stick it down there, get a little tiny bit of a gap. Don't go too far in, like that. And go around with the guitar picked. And around the other side. And then you want to lift kind of down and out for the top to get the top of the screen out, and then you're good to go. So now we do the plate. There's going to be 4 screws you're going to be removing. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oops. 3 and 4. So that this screw in the top, top right, is not magnetic. So I try to take it out with it still in the plate. So still in there. And then this is when I like to double check to make sure my cell phone's off. Yep, we're good. So go ahead and pop up 3 connectors. One's going to be the the front-facing camera, which is this one. Just be real gentle when you lift these up. Kind of just push underneath there and twist a little bit. There's 2, and then the third one. There is that. Oh, it's gonna stick on you, so that's why it's always good to go slow. There we go. Just a little sticky in there. So before I put the new screen on, I like to grab my new screen right here and put it on and test it. So you're going to snap down 2 connectors here. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. There we go. So I like to wiggle it around until I can kind of feel it stop moving, and then I know that's lined up, and I push down. So that's on there. Sorry, that's a phone going off. Go ahead and start it up. That's only the first of 2 things you need to test. First, you need to make sure it lights up. You can see a display, which is what it's doing. And then you want to make sure it recognizes your finger everywhere on the screen. So we're going to let that load up. While that's loading, I'm going to go ahead and start removing some stuff from the old screen. There's 2 screws down here, one for the home button. So take those 2 out. There's that. And then this little section here you're going to remove. It's adhered down, stuck down, so you just want to get under there gently. There we go. Just kind of wiggle it back and forth. Don't force it. There we go. Okay. 'Cause that's a really thin wire right there. It's really easy to tear. There we go. There's the home button. And then just kind of pop that out like so. Make sure there's no leftover glass on there. Okay, that's out. So phone started up. Oh, you can barely see it. So, and there's no home button to test. So let's see. What I like to do is just go to emergency. Don't dial 911 now. I don't know if you can even see that. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit. I'm just pushing the numbers, making sure it recognizes everything. Delete it, push the green button, cancel. That brings me back. Move that around. Okay, looks like we're good. I'm going to shut it down and proceed with putting all the stuff on the old screen onto the new screen. So we've already removed the home button. You can start removing this earpiece right here. There's going to be 2 screws, one there and one there. There's one. And 2. There we go, come on. There's 2, and then there's a little bar down here that you want to pop out that holds this earpiece in place. Kind of want to get down in there and just gently, hopefully you saw that on the camera. Pop that out, and then once that's out, you can lift this up and out like that. There we go. And then this earpiece just lifts out. And then this part's a little tricky. So this is stuck down by adhesive. I'm going to start right here and do the same thing that I did with the home button. Kind of get under there and wiggle it back and forth. There we go. So wiggle it like that. Come on. This one's stuck down really good. Okay, so I get the top part off first. This proximity sensor, that's the back of it. It gets stuck in the bracket there sometimes, so I try to be extremely gentle. Sometimes it's impossible to get out without breaking it, and those are unfortunate, but I'm just going to very gently try and remove that out of there. Sometimes these things are just set up to fail. Okay, so what I did, this one was kind of tricky. It's stuck in this little plastic bracket in here. That plastic bracket right there. That comes off. I'll show you. Okay, so this thing I'm going to reuse. This little plastic bracket. It was stuck in there, so what I did is I just peeled that up. That one's held down by some glue. And so hopefully we didn't damage our proximity sensor doing that. But that one was pretty stuck in there. Alright, and then after you do that, you want to lift up on your microphone. Right here, this is the microphone for the video. Right there. And then we can start taking off this metal plate, starting with this top screw right here. There's one. There's going to be 5 screws. Oh, my screwdriver is losing its magnet. There we go. There's 1, 2 on the side here. 2, 3. This one down here. 4. Actually, there's 6. I lied. 5. On the other side here, there's 5 and 6. Right there. So now we can lift this out. Don't make the mistake of leaving this stuff down and then try to take off the plate because you'll tear something. There's that. We're going to save that. And then we're also going to pop off this bracket here. This holds the rear-facing camera in. So take that out too. So you move that aside. We've shut this down. Just check real quick. And we're going to put this on, all the stuff that we just took off, onto this one. Aren't we having fun yet? So I'm going to start with gluing down those plastic brackets that I just picked. Actually, I'm just going to glue this one, the proximity one in. This one takes a little bit of craftsmanship to put in. You want to line it up perfectly so that you see, right, let's see, there's a little light showing through. You want to line up perfectly with that, with this. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can. I've done a couple without gluing this in, and they still work. But I just like to put the foam back together the way that it came apart. So there's that. Okay. I try to be too much of a perfectionist sometimes. Actually, we're going to glue this. This is how I do this. Now, some people just put this in here, and this doesn't have any stickiness left to it. There's actually a little piece of glass on here that I need to get off. Doesn't have any stickiness left to it, so I do a very carefully thin bead on this side. And then a tiny bit on this side. And then a tiny bit on this side. And then go ahead and line that up. Make sure your home button's straight, so it's not like crooked, you know, the box, make sure the box isn't crooked. That's why I re-glue this down, is because if you just put the home button down without gluing it or sticking it, it's going to turn over time. So when you press the home button, it starts to turn and that box gets crooked. Okay, sorry about that. I had a customer come in. So I'm going to try and reuse some of this sticker here. Okay. So this is going to go back on the back of this. And there's two tiny little prongs here you want to line up your ribbon cable with. One right there and one right there. So go ahead and put that down like so. Put your two screws back in the home button. One and a two. And then line up this over the two probes. Like so. Make sure it clicks. Yep, we're good. And then we can go ahead and put the back plate back down. This is, you're going to have to pull up on these tabs to get it to fit in between. Push down there. Then once it's in, make sure your screw holes are lined up. I'm going to start with this top screw. This one might be a little tricky. Let's see. My screw hole on the top is not lined up, so there we go. Ah, come on. There we go. There's that one. I'm going to do the bottom one too. This one right here. And I'm going to do 2 side ones on this side. One and 2. And the 2 on the other side. One and 2. Okay, there's that. First thing I do when I put this back together is to stick the microphone from for the video right there. There's a little hole there that you're going to stick it into. I'm going to try and do it so you can see. This one's kind of tricky. Don't lose patience with it. Okay, so that's in now. This takes a little bit of patience. Then I'm just going to set this in there instead of gluing it in. And the reason I do that is because when you do super glue and you re-glue it, if it's not all the way dry, it fogs. It fogs when it dries, and then the front-facing camera is blurry. So this takes a little bit of lining up. If you want to take a look at the back of this, and then kind of take a look of where it goes, that might help you. But there's basically 2 prongs here that you need to line up. These 2 prongs need to line up with the 2 holes that are right there on the front-facing camera. Okay, so I know from experience just by feeling it that it's flat and it's good to go. Then you can put your earpiece back on. Make sure the 2 little prongs on there are matching up with the 2 brass plates right there. And then we can take our, I'm going to bend that back, take our plate over here. And this one, that little ledge goes down in first, where this thumb is, where I'm tapping. That goes down first, and then make sure it's lined up, and then it should just click in like that. It should hold it like that, and that's what you want before you put the 2 screws in. If it's not holding it down, then something's not lined up. So I'm going to do this top screw first, this one right here. Squeak, 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 squeak. Okay, there's 1, and then 2. Right here. Okay. So that's in. Make sure you can see your front-facing camera. It's all lined up nice. Proximity sensor's in, home button's in, it clicks. Let's put this back on. I'm going to line up 3 connectors. This first one's for the display. Okay, that one's down. This second one's for the display. And then this one's for the front-facing camera. Okay, so all this stuff takes a little practice, so if it's not lining up, don't push it down and force it down because you might break something. So just remember to try not to, and it's very difficult not to get frustrated. If you need to, walk away for a little bit and come back to it later. So I'm going to put these 4 screws back down in this plate. There's 1 screw. 2 screws. Alright. Come on. I try and stick these, or line these screws up with my screwdriver before I put it down. So this is the 3rd screw right here. Right there. And then this one's not magnetic, so what I do is I lay the screw like that flat, and then I just kind of gently push it into its place. Yep. It happens. You can also just take your tweezers and line it up, drop it in. There, that works. Alright, and screw your last screw down. Make sure these are all tight. And look to make sure you don't have any screws left over, you forgot anything. I'm going to push the screen down this way first. These 5Cs are kind of tricky to get these to line up because they kind of have to snap in. Actually, this one's going to be really easy. Oh, there we go. So that's snapped in. And then once the top's in and it's nice and flush, like so, then you can just gently push the sides down like so. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and fire it up. That's a good sign. While it's warming up, I want to put these 2 pentalobe screws in the bottom here. 1, 2. Tighten those up. Okay, there's that. Now the screen should be bright because the reason when we first put it on and all the junk wasn't on the back of it, like we just transferred, the reason why it wasn't lighting up is because that auto light detector was not plugged in, so you could see the screen's nice and bright now. It's because the auto light detector is plugged in now. So we just want to make sure it touches everywhere. Cancel. Make sure the home button works. And sleep it. Turn it back on. Oh, I'm gotta push the home button. Okay. So it looks like we're good to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up, get it ready for the customer, and that is how you do a screen fix on an iPhone 5C. If you made it through the video without sleeping, congratulations. I know it's not the most exciting topic, but hey, if you wanted to do it yourself, you have the info to do it now. Thanks for watching, guys.